Hey, Reimagineers, welcome back to another episode of the Disney Magical Mindset Podcast. My name is Ruben, and I want you to know that I love helping you silence the villain in your mind so you can become the hero of your story. You are the hero, all right? And today, we're going to talk about something that I think hits way closer to home than most people want to admit. And it's this. There will always be somebody out there who doesn't see your worth, your value, how important and amazing you are. There's always going to be someone who doubts you, who questions you, and maybe even overlooks you. But the real question we want to ask today, the real question we want to dig into today is, what if the person holding you back the most is you? And that's what we're going to change. We're going to talk about that today. So if you're ready, come on, let's do this, because here we go. So I'm at Disneyland the other day, as I am often there. I'm so grateful to be in the parks as much as I can, and there I was in Fantasyland, talking to Peter Pan, which is one of the things I really enjoy. In fact, if you want to see Peter Pan or many Disney characters, it's always good to go early in the morning. It's one of the reasons why I love to rope drop. But there I am in Fantasyland, and I'm filming Peter Pan, talking to him, and I ask him how he's doing. And without missing a beat, he responds with, "I'm doing wonderfully." And I'm like, go ahead, Peter. And I don't know why, but it just really, it hit me. We had a conversation about fly and seek, which was kind of cool. I'm like, wow, I've never done fly and seek before, but that would be amazing. And it really just stuck with me the entire day, because this character who literally flies, and y'all know how much I love Peter Pan. That's my favorite character, right? He lives in Neverland, fights pirates, and his response is this: "I'm doing wonderfully." And it got me thinking, when's the last time you said that? I had to start thinking, like, when did I respond to somebody when they asked how I was doing, and I was like, "I'm doing wonderfully." Not I'm good, or nah, I'm okay, but wonderful or wonderfully. Because somewhere, I think along the way, we kind of lose that. And we lose that with life, which is understandable, hardships, difficulties. Sometimes we're just not feeling it, And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to continue to say this, because I really, really believe this. You don't have to live in Neverland for Neverland to live in you. Now, of course, we'd love to fly off to Neverland and live there. Who wouldn't, right? We talked about flying and pirates and mermaids and being in this place that just makes us dream. Like, wow, we just would love to experience this, which is why I love the attraction and why the film is like my favorite. There's just something about Neverland, and it just hit me a couple years ago. And I'm like, wow, you know what? You don't have to live in Neverland for Neverland to live in you, because the reality is you got to come back, right? We got to come to this real world, and we leave a Disney park, and then we go back to our lives and our jobs and our responsibilities. And I just want you to take this with you, that just because you come off the ride doesn't mean that joy and excitement and those happy thoughts and those things that actually make you fly have to end. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to continue to encourage you with it. You don't have to live in Neverland for Neverland to live in you. And here's why. Because in order to get to Neverland, you have to fly. And the crazy thing, and the most amazing thing about this, and I think people miss it and we forget it, because we just want to get to Neverland, which of course I want to be there, not to grow up, right? It seems like the responsibility, you're just having fun all day. You're fighting pirates and you're flying into caves and going with mermaids, and you got Tinkerbell, man, and you just like, you got the pixies and the fairies. It's of course. But here's the thing that we miss. If you're going to get to Neverland, let's just say we're going with Peter Pan, you have to understand this. It's not just about the pixie dust. That's important. That's important. You know, it's great to have the pixie dust. In fact, you see Peter Pan will grab Tink and start drenching Michael, John, and Wendy with the pixie dust. But think about it. You actually need happy thoughts. It's the happy thoughts that is the actual pixie dust that makes you fly. You don't fly because you have the ability. You fly because of what you're thinking. And this is what I'm saying. And I continue to just it hits me. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, because it's in you. My friends, I keep reminding you of this. I remind myself of this because it's so easy to forget sometimes. And it's not just an idea that's a Disney thing. It's real life. The direction of your life will always follow the direction of your thoughts. And if your thoughts are heavy, if they're negative, if it's full of doubt, and if it's full of anger or hate, think about that's what's going to rise. That's what's going to come out. And what happens is you end up staying stuck, and it's hard to take flight when you're feeling like this. But if your thoughts are rooted in belief, in faith, in trust, in that pixie dust, even when things aren't perfect, you start to lift. You start to get off the ground. You start to fly. And there's this part in the animated film. It's my favorite. Or one of my favorites, right? That's hard to what's your favorite scene in the movie? Well, this one. I think it's this one right here where they fly off to Neverland, but it happens in the nursery where Peter is ready to take Wendy, John, and Michael to Neverland. But in order for them to go to Neverland, they have to fly. That's what we've been saying. You have to fly. And this part is what gets me. Like that moment that I had with Peter in Fantasyland when we were talking and I asked him how he was doing and he was like, I'm doing wonderfully. This is this moment here that's it's the game changer. And I think we miss this, but it's so powerful because in the movie, after Peter remembers the secret to flying, because you remember, he forgets. Remember that part? What's the matter? Don't you know? When he asks, oh, sure. It's just that I never thought about it before. Right? You remember that part? And so after he remembers the secret to flying, then he tells Wendy confidently, you think of a wonderful thought. And they reply, any happy little thought? And then we sing a happy song and we're off to Neverland, one of my favorite things. So here's the power behind that. Your brain works on what it's told. That's why this is so important, because in this movie, in this scene, in Flying Off to Neverland, there's so much magical life lessons and so much, amazing mindset power there in this one scene. Don't underestimate the power of applying happy thoughts or good intentions to all parts of your life. Watch what happens when you do this, because by your thinking and choosing, you redesign the landscape of your brain. So what we've been saying is if you think negative or toxic thoughts, your brain picks up on that and it throws your mind and body into stress. And we don't need stress. That's the last thing we need. And I think we all know this because we've been there before. But you can reverse that. Here it is. By thinking happy thoughts, you think of a wonderful thought. Feelings of love and joy and appreciation and gratitude, because you're always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. The pixie dust, remember this, that Peter applies on Wendy and her brothers, it only comes after they believe they can fly. Because the power in lifting off and flying to Neverland is in you. It's in those happy thoughts. So don't wait until the pixie dust to start to fly, because you'll never get to Neverland. Listen, once those happy thoughts took over, the pixie dust was just the reminder that the power starts in the mind. It's in the mind. It's the reminder that I keep reminding you about and me about, that we go to a Disney park not to get the magic, but to be reminded that the magic is in you. The power of the happy thoughts to get us, take us, to soar to Neverland. Now here's where this gets real, okay? Because most people think their biggest problem is what's happening around them. It's not. It's actually what's happening within them, which is why those happy thoughts are so important, because I know what happens if we don't have the happy thoughts in our minds, right? There's that voice in the head that seems to kind of drown out those happy thoughts. Things like, you're not ready. Remember, you're not good enough. That's not for you. You're never going to make it. You're going to stay stuck in this place. Do you actually think you can do this? You know, all those voices that keep us grounded. And the crazy part is we listen to it like it's telling the truth. Man, I hate that. You know, it's like it's telling us something that's a lie. It's just lying to you. And yet we listen to it. It's familiar. It feels safe. It's the thing that we kind of hear, and sometimes it's louder because it makes us feel like, well, hey, I'm just going to stay on the ground. It's safer on the ground. Why am I going to take off, right? Why am I going to fly? But you know, in order to get to Neverland, in order to get to where you want to go, in order to get to that special place that's waiting for you on the other side, you have to get off the ground. You have to fly, friends. That's the way it goes. So let me say this. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. There will always be someone who can't see your value. There will always be someone who doesn't believe in you. There will always be someone who just thinks that you're just destined to stay on the ground. Don't let that someone be you. Don't let it be you. Hear me, your friend, your bro. Don't let that be you, because when you stop believing in yourself, it doesn't matter who else does. My goodness. You'll talk yourself out of the opportunity, out of the dream, out of becoming who you were meant to be. And what makes the difference, you know what's interesting? What makes the difference between kids and adults? You know what it is? Which is why I really believe Walt, resonates so much with this, Walt Disney, and why he keeps reminding us that, like, what happens is when we get older, we become adults, we stop believing. Like, our imagination gets lost. Something happens in between the moment when we're kids and we're adults, and we lose that, right? We stop going to Neverland. We stop believing. And here's the difference between kids and adults, I think. See if you resonate with this, is that kids believe they can fly. I mean, kids have this imagination. They're like, I'm going to go to Neverland. I'm going to go every time I get, every chance I get. I'm off to Neverland. And then we grow up, right? We become adults. And then it's like, now we're looking for ways to prove that I can fly. and we got to have the statistics, and we got to have, those who have gone before us and shown us, like, we have to have the proof. And somewhere along the way, we traded belief for being like realistic, or not even realistic. Sometimes it's like we're pessimistic now. We've been burned so many times that we no longer, believe we can fly. And let's be honest, being realistic is often just fear dressed up as logic. It really is. It sounds smart, it sounds responsible, but it quietly kills your ability to dream. And if you don't believe it's possible for you, you'll never even try. If you think you can, you probably can, or you actually can. But if you think you can, guess what? You're not going to, because you'll keep staying grounded, keep missing out on Neverland, keep missing out on the amazing experiences of your life, because instead of taking flight, you stayed grounded and you missed out on Neverland. But it's for you. Neverland's for you. It's for me. So how do you shift this? This is important. How do we get off the ground? How do we get to Neverland? Right? How do you actually start thinking different? Well, I want to give you just a few simple, happy thoughts you can start using today. Because we say this, just think of a wonderful thought. What are the happy thoughts? Here you go, right? It's real simple. Number one, here's the first thing. If you're going to generate those happy thoughts that are going to take you to Neverland and back and forth, so like you just have the ability to take off anytime you want. Here it is. Number one, you have to look back at what you've already overcome. Some of you have these powerful stories. Not just some of you. You all have an amazing story to tell of how you've overcome. Like, you've done the hard things before. Don't forget that. Where you are today, I want to clap for you and just encourage you and just say, man, I'm so with you and I'm cheering you on, because you've overcome so much. And you've got to remember what you've already overcome, so that when it comes to the next time you're going to overcome something, you're like, yeah, I've been there before. I've done this. I've fallen down, but I'm back up. I know what it's like to take these blows in life that like hurt sometimes. And sometimes they want to keep me grounded, but I've been there before. I've overcome. I've gone through this. Now I can get through the next one. And I can get through the next experience. So you just have to remember, that's the happy thoughts. Man, look at you. Look at how far you've come already. Look at how much you've overcome. That's the first one, all right? And man, I wish if I could just hear your stories of how you've overcome. It's so encouraging. Isn't that why we love those comeback stories and why we love those stories where it looks like the underdog is losing, and why we resonate with our Disney stories? Because it looks like sometimes they're not going to make it, and the tension in that film of having to wait to see, are they going to overcome? And then when they do, it's like, wow, look at that. Because we all resonate with it, because we've all been there before. So look back at what you've already overcome. Number 2, the second thing is to start seeing where you're going before you get there. Ooh, yeah. That's what Walt did. He saw the castle before everyone else did. Everyone else saw orange groves, and Walt saw a magic kingdom, a castle. You have to see yourself. See where you're going before you get there. Because not everybody's going to see it. Everyone's going to think that it's just an orange grove. Everyone's going to think that you're just staying stuck on the ground, but you see things that no one else does. So you've got to feel. What's that feeling you feel when you're in Neverland? That feeling you feel when you've accomplished your dream, when you finish the race, when you're on the other side. That feeling, that vision, you've got to see yourself there before you get there, because that's what keeps reminding you of what you've got to do to get there. That's what keeps pushing you to say, I can do this. I'm going to keep going. I'm never going to give up because I see it. I see it. What do you see on the other side? My friends, let that push you. Let that drive you. Let those happy thoughts carry you. Because you know exactly what that feels like. You know what it feels like to be on the other side. You know what it feels like to accomplish the dream. You know what it looks like. You might only see in that moment, or others might only see the orange groves or just dirt, but you see the castle. That feeling, that thing that you see, that's pushing you, that gets you excited, that wakes you up at night, that causes you to say, man, I got to get there. What's that feeling? You see that before anyone else does. You see it, my friends. Where you're going before you get there. That's the second thing on the happy thoughts. And here's the third one. It's real simple. The third practical, magical life lesson you could take with you today. This takeaway is this. Change the question. Can we just change the question? Stop asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what if this actually works? Yeah. Stop asking the questions, or just rephrase the question. Instead of saying, I don't know if I can do this, start saying, you know what? What if I can do this? Instead of saying, yeah, I know it. I don't know, man. I've been hearing people saying things that about me and they just don't believe in me, but I believe in myself. Like, change the question. Reframe it in the positive, in the happy thoughts, and see what happens. See what happens when you begin to reframe the question from a negative to a positive. I can do this. I will do this. It will work out. I will get there. What happens when you change the question? That's your pixie dust, okay? You have the pixie dust. I'm just reminding you of the pixie dust. Number 1, look back at what you've already overcome. Number 2, start seeing where you're going before you get there. And then number 3, change the question. Because at the end of the day, you don't need more talent. You don't need more time. I sometimes it's so easy to get stuck in that. If I just read more books, which I love to read, by the way, if I just, read more on how to do this, if I just had more of what they have, right? Or what he has or what she has, or if I just had more time. No, stop that. Because you get stuck in that place, and it's like a whirlpool that keeps spinning you, and you never get to Neverland because you stay stuck. You need to stop being the person who can't see what you're capable of. That's what you need. Yeah, because the moment you do, everything starts to change. You don't just think different, you move different, you show up different, and eventually you start to fly. When you start seeing in you what's actually in you. The strength, the power to overcome, the ability to get to Neverland, right? Please, my friends, my pals, here's what I want to leave you with. I know there's going to always be people who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. You got to be your biggest cheerleader and biggest fan. It's got to be you, because it doesn't matter what anyone else says. If you don't believe it about yourself, who cares what anyone else says? What is that going to do if you don't actually believe that you can fly? Ooh, yeah. So I'm here to continue to encourage you along the way, to continue to fly off to Neverland together. And I want to remind you again and again and again, you don't have to live in Neverland in order for Neverland to live in you. Okay? So if this episode spoke to you today, please share it with someone who needs to believe again that they can fly off to Neverland. And if you haven't done so already, I want to encourage you to follow the podcast, to subscribe wherever you are, because you don't want to miss what's coming next. I every single week, man, I'm just bringing this magical mindset fire that I just want to encourage you with every single week. All right. So as always, keep believing, keep dreaming. All right. Keep going. You got this, man. Faith, trust, and pixie dust. And I'll see you next time, Reimagineers, because you are the magic, and the magic is in you.